Marvellous it is to see you in the chair this afternoon. Look, I'm more than happy to make a contribution to the Crimes Amendment Performance Crime Bill 2025, or as it's become known, the Post and Boast Bill. This is something that I have worked on at length since it became a real issue in the electorate of Mildura. The Leader of the Opposition has visited Mildura a couple of times based on the issues that we've had in our electorate, where the posting of crimes, usually crimes committed by young people, have been circulated on different social media platforms, predominantly Snapchat, but we know once it's out there on the old internet, it spreads very, very quickly and ends up everywhere. And I agree with the member for Hastings. If you are posting these videos for fame, it's incredibly stupid. It used to be that you would worry where cameras are. Well, cameras are everywhere now and people film everything. So why would you post your own evidence against you? But I'll tell you why they do, Acting Speaker. And that is because they know, these young people in particular, know that there are no consequences for not only the crimes that they're committing. They might get a slap on the wrist, if that, but they can post it, they get away with it, and they get huge amounts of likes, they get shares, and they get no consequences in the youth justice system. That's why they do it. Will this bill stop that? No. Particularly when, and some of the videos that I have seen locally, there are ones from numerous public places that children frequent, and I saw another one yesterday where the two children involved, 8 and 11. I have a 10 and a 7-year-old. Now, I can tell you, if I saw my children or one of my children having that sort of act committed upon them, it would be my wrath they would have to face, because there are no consequences, and especially when it gets posted on Snapchat for everyone to see and then ends up on Instagram and can sometimes end up on the nightly news. This happened about 18 months ago. There was another incident where this happened, and the victim of that crime, they were teenagers in this case, but the PTSD that was suffered by the victim in that crime is still there. There is still the fear of going into these public places now, because those that committed the crime have faced absolutely zero consequences. And guess what the crimes committed were, Acting Speaker? Assault. Guess what's not included in this bill, Acting Speaker? Assault. Which just makes the mind boggle, and we see this all the time. The news channels have featured this numerous times, and the videos that are most predominant in this area are kids beating up other kids. It's assault. So why on earth is that not covered in this bill? So we support the member, the Shadow Attorney General, in his amendments, which would add the following offences to the list of relevant offences: causing serious injury intentionally in circumstances of gross violence, causing serious injury recklessly in circumstances of gross violence, assaults, destroying or damaging property, and Road Safety Act, dangerous driving. So people hooning in their cars is also not included in this bill, when that would be, in the videos again that I've seen and that community members have presented to me, it's assault and hoon driving that are the content that gets the shares, and that's why they get posted. So why on earth they haven't been included in this bill is beyond me. And I want to talk about, again, I bring this up every chance I get in this chamber, and it seems like on a weekly basis recently, the police that work incredibly hard to arrest some of the offenders, and then they call it a rinse and repeat style of justice, because they will arrest the offenders because they know who they are, especially in small regional towns. Often it is very, very small groups of repeat offenders that know that there are no consequences for their actions. But you have police members who are run off their feet doing this kind of stuff. It is a rinse and repeat. They come in through the station, out through justice, and then they're back out on the street in 24 hours. But I've come to learn, Acting Speaker, and those offenders, let me remind you, are then offered every service or support service that they can possibly be offered. Mind you, I've had a couple of police members say that when you lift that veil, there's nothing there. I have had contact in the last week that the Western Region Health and Wellbeing Hub, which has placed mental health clinicians embedded within Victoria police stations, this has only been there for 12 months, has been defunded. So any of that mental health support that is supposed to help with work cover claims, these were the reasons that it was implemented in the first place, return to work, work cover claims, mental health support, and there was a recognition initially that these health and wellbeing hubs would be able to support Victoria Police members, both sworn and unsworn, with the mental health support that they needed after having to deal with crimes such as these, and like I said, with sometimes children as young as 8 years old, sometimes younger than that. That support has been ripped out over the winter break, and it is absolutely disgusting. How on earth can we offer all of the support services to these offenders that are causing the trauma, the PTSD, and causing Victoria Police members to need that mental health support? It's been there for 12 months, and it was covered off it was recommended in not only the Royal Commission, the Mental Health Royal Commission, it was also covered off in a Victoria Police review in 2018 and an IBAC and a Victorian Ombudsman report before that. So 3 different reports and reviews have recommended embedded mental health clinicians in Victoria police stations, particularly in the regions. It gets implemented for 12 months so they can tick that box, and all of a sudden, with 6 weeks' notice, the mental health clinicians and the injury management consultants that have been employed and embedded into those stations are now out of a job. There are 20+ people now in the regions that offer support to Victoria Police that have lost their job in the last 6 weeks. How is that supporting Victoria Police to do their job? We hear in this place from the other side how much is being invested into Victoria Police and how well they're supported. I can tell you that is utter rubbish, utter rot. Again, we see Victoria Police getting the raw end of the stick again by the health and wellbeing hubs and the mental health clinicians and injury management consultants being ripped out of stations after only 12 months. And within those 12 months, the improvements and the support that these mental health clinicians have offered and the results they have seen, I have been presented with a proposal and some case studies and testimonials from Victoria Police members about why they should remain. But silence, complete, utter silence from this government who just refuses to support Victoria Police members. And these Post and Boast laws that we are debating this afternoon do not go far enough. Once again, this is repeat behaviour by the Allen Labor government. It simply doesn't go far enough. So, of course, we support the Shadow Attorney-General in some pretty simple amendments to add those offences that are the most commonly seen published across digital platforms and across the mainstream media, such as assault, such as dangerous driving, such as destroying and damaging property, and causing serious injury intentionally and recklessly in circumstances of gross violence. I'll say it again, why on earth they weren't included in this bill in the first place? I have a mantra, Acting Speaker, which I'm sure you've heard me say plenty of times before. If you're going to do something, do it right the first time.
Member for